Welcome back to our message from our divine compassionate guides. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope today's message will help heal and serve you in the way that is appropriate. As these messages come through to each of us in a little bit different way, but there is an underlying message that we're all trying to get here so we can spiritually grow and be connected. So today I am pulling from the Wisdom of Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. And of course, as you might have noticed here, 3-card spread. Again, kind of where we're coming from, where we currently are, and where we're going is kind of the idea of the layout here. And I just want to highlight, just to talk about, I got a couple new crystals. This one here is my malachite. Untumbled, beautiful, and extremely powerful. I was working with it this morning, meditating. Very great crystal. I've got a new Amazonite, really great for electromagnetism and stuff with your computer, that kind of stuff, as well as shungite. Very good. It's a really it's super interesting when you start looking into it about how all this shungite comes from one meteorite in Russia that we have been mining for years, since whenever it landed. And we don't really understand the properties, but it seems to really help with electromagnetics. So there you go. Got some new crystals, so I highly recommend. Find yourself some. It's a calling. Anyways, let's go to our message. Let's find out what our cards have to say. Let's go right here to where we are coming from. By the book. This one we've pulled before, the essential meaning. You're following the social norm. You're in line. You're doing what you're supposed to. That is by the book, following the book. That's where we've been coming from. Where we are right now. This is the never-ending story. So with this one, the actual essential meaning on that, self-criticism, the wounded ego, unnecessary drama. So just stuff that you're not in a good place. Unnecessary drama, ego is being wounded. We're not in a good place. And where we're going, chaos and conflict. Well, that's joyful. So obviously we're being led to the chaos and conflict. Again, with that, the essential meaning on that card, in case it's not obvious, is disarray, being at cross purposes with another, and the tension of opposites and the value of chaos before the order. So that is what we're looking at. Let's dive in and kind of put these together. So what I feel this is really saying, we've been living by the book. We followed the rules. We did what we were supposed to do, especially over these last 3 years. Maybe you were following everything they've told you. You masked it. You got the experiment. You locked yourself down. You kept your child in a room and fed them food under their door because you were scared that they were sick. You followed what they told you. Now you're super unhappy. Now we're sitting here where the message of the oracle is there is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt, loss, rejection, and humiliation, self-loathing, and arrogance of all manners of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. This is an old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, you must not go there, you should not say that, lest the world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. So it's really telling us that we were living by the book, but now we're kind of at this turmoil, this turning point of realizing that following the book is not truth. And we're not happy here. And where we're going to go with this is into this conflict. That is where we're being led to at this moment is right into chaos and conflict and the opposing forces coming together to create turbulent atmosphere. But consider the value, because if we don't have this chaos, that it will serve us and we'll become unmoored by it. The scattering to the winds, you leave parts and Scattered to the winds, you leave behind parts of yourself you no longer need and disperse seeds to reinvent yourself anew. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, the essence is internal, projected outward and causing disarray. You may find yourself at a cross purposes with someone else, facing a storm you feel you can't control. Yet, every storm passes, and chaos leads to a reordering of things. Conflict provides a way to see things more than one side of them. So, we have lived by the book. We have done what we were told to do. We're now determining that when we followed everything we were supposed to, because you can't do this, you should do this, you felt these social norms and these pressures, we're not happy. We're not in alignment. We are not feeling super great. And what's going to happen because of that is we are coming to this chaos and conflict. We're going to have this internal battle. It's going to seem out external because we definitely have an external battle going on as well. But most of what we can control is the internal part. This is going to be us finding the way to allow ourselves to let go of living by the book, let go of the social norms. We have to detach. I've actually recently with myself, there's been something coming up that I'm really attached to, and it's something that I don't feel I need to be attached to. So I've been doing a lot of intended meditation of seeing myself unattached to that system that was holding me back, telling me how to live, which is not correct. It's not even truth. And we know this because that's how we're feeling now. We know this internally because that's where we are. And we know there's going to be chaos and conflict coming out of it because we're going to have to go through our own internal chaos and conflict, letting go of the by the book and the social norms and coming to terms of being not normal, doing the things you want to do, not what you're told to do. Just because it's always been that way does not make it true, authentic, and good for you. That's the summary. We've been living by the book. We're not happy about it. It has not brought us where we need to go. And we're going to have to change. And it's going to come to this conflict and this chaos to really stem the change. And new order will come, and it'll be a better order. It definitely will. The chaos and conflict brings to a new stage. And that is where we're definitely going to have to evolve as a society and as a culture. So I hope this message does help you today. I hope it gives you an insight that if you really have been following the book, all that social norm, and it's hard to break against the book because there's all these repercussions that you might have if you start not following that order that has been socially accepted. But look at where you are now. Are you happy? So does it even matter what those outcomes are? Because we're going to have chaos and conflict on all levels. And it's going to be to rectify this by the book living, this old social norm, these old cult norms that are not good for us, are not good for our spiritual well-being, and are not of our divine truth. Have a beautiful day. This is quite a message. It's quite intense. And I feel like, again, it's the divine timing to hear this message. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.